Bonjour everybody. Allow me to introduce to you the Dr. Howard Moskowitz. Who is the Dr. Howard Moskowitz? He's an American scientist, award-winning, to work with the biggest corporation in America, making billion of dollars. Doing what? Studying your brain. Studying my brain, the brain of your friend, of your children, of your family. Could you imagine yourself walking through a mall, looking about product and tell, oh, this is a Dr. Moskowitz product. Oh, this is a Dr. Moskowitz product. Dr. Moskowitz, Dr. Moskowitz, Dr. Moskowitz. Oh, Dr. Moskowitz. In your kitchen, in your house, is Dr. Moskowitz everywhere. In fact, you know, Dr. Moskowitz is responsible about why some American people are fat. This is crazy, no? Here, in fact, we are talking about the science of the smell, the science of the taste through the human mind. Could you imagine this? This is absolutely amazing. This is why I flew to New York, to see him, to talk with him, to learn about this research, to pass time with him, to know better the people, the men, okay? And frankly speaking, I was astonished, absolutely crazy. We passed a lot of time together because I really want to understand how that's work, and I convinced him to come with us, to bring back to Europe, to help you. Here he is, Dr. Moskowitz, joining us from New York. Welcome, Dr. Moskowitz. How are you doing today?
Bonjour, Fabrice. Comment ça va? Comment allez-vous? Fabrice, that is, of course, the extent of my French, although, as you know, since we've worked together, I speak French fairly fluently. It's good to see you, even if it's virtual.
Let's keep it simple, Dr. Moskowitz. You are responsible about the taste and the smell about 1,000 of products. Pepsi, Kellogg's, M&M's, McDonald's, and 1,000 more. You teach the company how to make people to buy this product. Now, how do you want to use this science to help people to lose weight?
You know, Fabrice, this is a very interesting question. So how do I want to use the science to help people lose weight? You know, as we've talked so many times, I've worked for companies across the world, helping them develop products that people want to eat. Now, I'm going to take the same science and help them lose the pounds that they've gained. Not necessarily from the products that I've developed, but the same exact science can help them lose weight.
Dr. Moskowitz, I have a question. Let's say it's a personal question, but I'm sure there are hundreds and hundreds of millions of people who will be very interested to understand how your brain science is working, how your science of the taste, of the smells is working. How do you learn about the human brain? Could you give us some details about this?
How do we get into somebody's brain? It sounds a little sinister, but it's really not. It's good science. Very simply, we assume we know nothing. We mix and match words, phrases, descriptions, present them to the consumer as small advertisements, get the consumer's reaction, and from the reaction to these small advertisements, figure out exactly what are the operating elements, what works and what doesn't. So we override this mental editor where people try to be correct. What that allows us to do essentially is get beneath the surface, get to their instinctive reactions, and then figure out what to say. And go a little bit further, identify these basic different groups of people who have different trigger points and know exactly what to say for each group, and then create an identification method using Nominome so that when a person shows up, we know exactly the group to which that person belongs, and therefore the trigger. This is the science that we're using for companies, and this is that science that we're bringing to you. It works very nicely. It's won awards scientifically in various groups, but I think it's now time to go into a bigger scale to do really good for people.
Dr. Moskowitz, when I was in New York with you, we have a lot of discussion, a lot of talk. And you told me something very important, touch me here. Every human brain is completely different. Could you explain that in more details, please?
So, Fabrice, we're really talking about individual differences. You and I have talked about this before, that everybody has different life experiences. But of course, when we're working in the world of business, trying to sell, trying to help people, we can't do an infinite number of different ways of talking. We have to put people into groups just like scientists do. And when we do that, we identify these basic mindsets, mind types, and then we find out what works for each group. So your question is really good. How do you deal with so much person-to-person variation? And what we do is we do our mind typing using scientific methods, statistics. It works. It's very nice. It's not, of course, perfect. We'd love to get into each person's brain, but that, I think, is going to be a scientific pipe dream. We can get 80% or 85% of the way there. And I have to tell you, frankly, as a PhD from Harvard, that's good enough for me.
Doctor, I have another question. As you know, I am French, I am European. You talk very well French, huh? To tell the truth, okay. Do you think the human European brain, or the French brain, or the Russian brain, or the Chinese brain are different of American brain?
You know, Fabrice, I get that question all the time. Not necessarily is the European brain different from the Asian brain, different from the American brain, but our brains in different countries different. And what I keep coming up with is the fact that just like every color is a mixture of red and yellow and blue, there are basic mindsets around the world in a topic area like sleep products, like diet products, like energy products. And these, there may be 3 groups or 4 groups, and every country has these groups. And the country-to-country differences are really the proportion of the groups. Just like every color in the rainbow or actually in every color that we can create is really a different combination of red, of yellow, and blue. So to answer your question a little long-windedly, the minds are not different in these countries. It's just the distribution of these basic groups that are different. And that's what the science gets at.
Doctor, you show me Nominom, www.nominom.com. What is that exactly?
So what's Nominom? You know, Fabrice, I've been working on this mind typing for over a decade. And what I thought is, why don't we let people around the world find out the mindset or the mind type to which that person belongs, whether that be weight loss or sleep or financial services like credit cards. And Nominom is our attempt to make popular this mind typing procedure. It's as if you could go to the doctor and instead of going to a doctor to find out your blood type and whether you have sugar, test yourself at home. Well, we have a sort of a test your mind at home, and we figure out, or you figure out, what group you belong to for various topic areas. When we do that, you learn more about yourself, and you're able to communicate with your friends on Facebook. You're able to communicate with merchants for products and services that you want. And you're essentially able to identify who you are in a very interesting, scientific, and engaging way.
Doctor, all my friends in Europe, in Russia, in East country, in Asia, my family, all the people I know, and I know a lot of people, how Nominom will work for them?
Well, that's a good point. Just how will Nominom work? First of all, what's the major thing that we know about people? WIIFM. What's in it for me? People are interested in themselves. So the more that they can go on a computer and find out about themselves, the happier they will be. They can do that through Nominom. They can go on, do a small test or a little interview, and find out exactly who they are in a specific topic area, find out more about people like themselves, which is always interesting, share that information with their friends, and also, from the commercial point of view, have advertisers linked to them so that the advertisers on their site for their mind type can have the right targeted advertisement. So it's essentially, if you will, a quiz about yourself, which is reinforcing to the consumer, to the user. It's a way of the user telling everybody, this is who I am, and finding out more about who that person is, their own interest in themselves, and also monetizing that interest by allowing advertisers to share in this, to know who the person is, and allow the advertiser to have a targeted, precise ad fit to that mind type.
Dr. Moskowitz, you know, I met you in New York and we stayed a couple of days together. Frankly speaking, I learned a lot of things. I didn't even know the science of the taste and the science of the smells was so deep, absolutely incredible. People doesn't know that. People doesn't know that everywhere in the world. And now you will come with us in Europe, in Asia, in this country to teach people about this. Are you excited to do that?
Fabrice, if I could tell you the level of my excitement, it's at the top of the scale. First of all, to work with you personally is an honor and a pleasure. Second, as you know, I love Europe, and the opportunity to share with Europe these discoveries that we've made is just so very exciting for me. And third, I think we can do a tremendous amount of good for Europe and hopefully for Asia as well, working together. So to answer your question, I'm very excited.
Dr. Moskowitz, do you know what that means, touching humanity? Touching humanity. This is what you did, really, for 30 years. And I want to thank you a lot, thank you very much, okay, to share your science with us and to be part of the teams. It's an honor for us. It's great to have you on the teams, and we will be very happy to share your science everywhere in the world to help people to losing weight and to being better. Thanks a lot. Merci et au revoir.